This video will be much more gameplay and montage focused than my previous video. Thank you for all the support and kind words, by the way. I will be discussing the story, including major spoilers, and will give you a chance to skip before major story spoilers are shown. If you already know what Trepang2 contains as far as disclaimers are concerned, skip to this timestamp or the next chapter of the video. Disclaimer: if you are uncomfortable with excessive gore or blood, I would recommend clicking off this video, as Trepang2 is not a game with sunshine and rainbows. While the gore is not very realistic, at least in my opinion, it still may be enough to make some people feel sick. Otherwise, sit back, try to relax, and enjoy the video. Trepang2 is an FPS semi-horror, and you'll see why later, game made by Trepang Studios as their first debut game. It is published by Team 17, which has published other games such as Blasphemous, Dredge, and Overcooked 2? What the fuck? It's a game that combines the anomalous nature of games like F.E.A.R, some notes from the SCP universe, and puts you in the shoes of a super soldier known as Subject 106, who has powers like the main character of Crises, being able to turn invisible, as well as slow time like in F.E.A.R. So, what does that look like? Well, it looks like absolute carnage. I discovered Trepang2 when YouTuber G-Man Lives made a video on the demo, which I downloaded and was immediately obsessed with. Fast forward almost 3 years and I bought the game in a bundle along with another game I love, Ultra Kill, in the Ultra Pang bundle on Steam. At the time of its release, it was a shining light in the, at the time, darkness of the games industry, being released just a couple of weeks after this heaping pile of shit. If you just came for a quick review of the game, then Trepang2 is a fresh experience that takes many highs from games such as F.E.A.R and Crises and makes it into a fantastic feeling game that is just plain out fun. Although the story is nothing spectacular, that's not why you should play it. So if that's all you came for, have a nice day. Otherwise, let's get straight into the gameplay. All the gameplay in this video was recorded on hard difficulty. Trepang2, or simply just Trepang from now on, is an violent game. It is a fast-paced, fairly difficult first-person shooter. For reference of the gameplay, I have nearly 30 hours on the game, have 100%ed it, and play competitive games almost constantly, specifically first-person shooters. Speaking of the 100, let's discuss that just a little bit. The 100% is mainly comprised of story-based achievements with some oddities, as well as the Unbreakable Will achievement, which requires you to beat the game on Rage difficulty, which the devs were literally told to remove for being too unfair. Why am I telling you this? I don't know, I just kind of wanted to brag, to be honest. Trepang, as I've said, takes heavy inspiration from F.E.A.R, but brings an almost Doom-like approach to gameplay, with you being able to kill your enemies with all types of weapons. There is a total of 8 different weapons in the game, with some weapons having attachments unlocked by finding attachment cases throughout the game that entirely change how the gun operates, such as the bolt launcher going from a 3-round burst sticky grenade launcher to a single-shot javelin pierce that sticks enemies to walls, which reminds me of the spear gun from Bioshock 2 for some reason. Each weapon serves a unique purpose, but for 99% of the game, you will use only one: the shotgun. It will make your enemies literally explode into a red mist as their guts lay on the floor still moving. There are also 11 different throwables in the game. Some of my favorites include the tomahawk, vortex grenade, and the rat bomb? Interesting. You are able to temporarily go invisible and slow time, which replenishes only when you get a kill. Your stamina also replenishes when you get a kill, heavily discouraging a slow playstyle. In the game, you'll face 3 different factions, with some enemy variety within each faction. You can shoot off limbs, explode them, kick the shit out of them, snap their neck, punch their head off, or just shoot them in the face. There is Horizon, the main antagonist of the game's story. Within Horizon, there are your generic soldiers that look like MTF guards from SCP, along with their Talon division, which are more elite and all talk like Captain Price. There are also Juggernauts who have a conveniently placed explosive tank on their backs to knock them over, allowing you to kill them fairly easily once you discover this. The next faction is the Cultists, who have their basic grunts, but also have self-game-ending pyromancers. The final faction is the Goo Boys. Seriously, that's what they're called in the game. They just kind of go boom into goo whenever you get close to them. You'll find these factions in different missions which you select in your headquarters, a place you travel back to between each mission via Raven 1, my beloved. Your HQ is your place to change clothing, run the combat simulator, and gear up for the next mission. There are 5 main story missions as of this video, as there's more content coming, and 6 side missions, which are either one-off idea missions, one of them being my second favorite mission in the whole game, along with just some wave-based survival. Each of these missions have some amazing set pieces and pacing, which is caused by the surprisingly amazing atmosphere.
Charge set. All teams begin the assault.
The atmosphere is set up in such a way that gives you just the right amount of let's fuck some shit up feeling, and usually not overdoing it. It does this through its atmosphere, something I did not expect this game to excel at when I first played it. Some of my favorite set pieces is the raid of Horizon headquarters, the final mission of the game as you storm the skyscraper and hear comms of just destruction of Horizon. As you scale the tower, the enemies become desperate, but you leave destruction in your wake. One of my favorite missions, a side mission named Crash Site, is a little wave-based survival level, but your helicopter, Raven 1, my beloved, has an aerial battle with a Horizon helo, Hunter, and it's so simple but so effective as you root for your boy to fuck him up.
Commencing airstrike. Locked on. Not this time, asshole. This is Hunter. On the remain behind.
But the game doesn't only do action set pieces great. There is another side mission, Unidentified Structure, that shows something isn't quite right. The director isn't sure what's going on.
Reconnaissance has just identified a Horizon facility. No further intel.
The quartermaster fears it.
Yeah, doesn't sound like your usual mission. Watch your back, boss.
Raven 1 finds some strange interference, and as you drop in, the mood feels something straight out of SCP. As you descend into the structure, you find a strange room with blue monitors, and as your skin begins to crawl, the silence becomes literally deafening, with strange floating entities spawning in the center. Aside from this more subtle suspense, there are straight-up horror sections in the game. Site 83 was one of the most surprising levels in the entire game for me. You drop in with a small squadron of allies and descend into the facility. Security was alerted, but no one came.
Where the hell is everyone?
The PA system tells of horrifying facts, with there being no music, just your footsteps, banter,
Cut the chatter. Be like 106.
and that
Damn PR system won't shut the hell up.
you get a nice startle and must split from your allies to open a door. As you walk over to it, you hear the PA say,
Movement detected in laundry room. Speed 600 kilometers per hour.
and are filled with spine chill. You come back and find nothing but blood splatter everywhere. As you get goosebumps and walk up to a door, you find yourself in an old wooden house. It's silent. Then, in a huge twist, you find yourself in a rundown, yellow-hued office. That's right, bitch. We're in the back rooms. The first time I played this, I was awestruck, to the point that I immediately forced my friends to see because I couldn't believe it. The suspense of this level is unmatched, with there being some more scary parts, but for the most part, it is completely suspenseful. If you do not want the story of the game to be spoiled, skip to this time code or the next chapter of the video. I'll try to keep the story fairly brief for you guys. The story of Trepang is there. It exists so the game can have its set pieces and character motivations, but it's fairly simple to understand and not in a bad way, mind you. No Dark Souls-esque pendant situations here. The story starts where they all do, from the beginning, as you see the perspective of someone else coming to rescue you from a Horizon facility. As a phrase is repeated to you. You find his destructive path and find him having committed seppuku, and a coin with the Roman numerals CV 105 on it. You come across a drone that contains a cryptic message, escape, and are rescued by Task Force 27 and brought back to the headquarters. From here, you have a lot of options, as you can either raid the Horizon Pandora Institute or the cultists that have held up in Jorvik Castle. The director, who is a female voice that speaks to you throughout the game and is the presumed leader of Task Force 27, refers to you as Subject 106. But in the debrief, you are always known as Asset 106. At the end of every single mission, you fight a boss, all referred to as Subject Number, aside from the Patriarch, who we'll talk about a little bit later. In the Pandora Institute, you get your first taste of horror with a pleasant elevator ride.
Good luck.
With blood splattered everywhere, you cautiously disable the gate and see a Mothman. Pursuing, you fight the Goo Boys and get pushed down an elevator shaft and must escape. You then blow the facility by yeeting the Goo Boys into it and have to juke the Mothman. You escape in the elevator, and just when you think you're done, you fight the Moth Boy. You kill him and the director fills you in. Following this, you raid the cultist-filled castle, and it's a 3-faction raid, with Task Force 27, cultists, and Horizon Black Ops fighting all at the same time. You kill the Enforcer, and follow the director's orders. Finding a horrific sight, you find bodies besides one, Spectre 3 Actual, and he sounds off. You kill the Flesh Golem, and the man himself, the Patriarch, makes a grand appearance.
So it's true. You really are just like me.
He says something that should, at this point, signify to you who Subject 106 really is. Note the Roman numerals on his head. This is the point in the story where you get the dual-wield syringe, because I guess your left arm was just too weak before. And it's just as fun as it sounds. You track down the Patriarch and fight with him, killing him and getting another lore drop from him.
Break the cycle.
Up next, the spooky backrooms level I discussed earlier. The only lore thing that actually happens here is the boss fight with a literal pillar, and it kinda sucks, but that's alright, it was a unique idea. You destroy it and a crater the size of Uganda gets made, with you being the only survivor.
Eyes on 106.
This is your final major spoiler warning, as this next part is the end of the game. If you don't want the story spoiled any further, now is your chance. With that, you are already on the final mission. The raid on Horizon HQ, where the big bad, Anton Lazar, is holding up. You ascend the building and he speaks to you, signifying something else is happening with Task Force 27.
Down an empire, you're burning down the hopes and dreams of thousands of scientists and innovators.
And in the final boss fight, tragedy strikes. You fuck up the helicopter and kill Anton via fist in face. He tells you, you return on the helicopter, but the loading screen is different. The headquarters is strangely silent, and as you use the airlock,
Don't fight it. It's time for you to retire now.
you awake to the director speaking to you. The debrief referring to you as Subject 106 rather than Asset 106, and the big reveal begins.
You're one of many cycles, 106. Each of you were created for a special purpose.
It may triumph today, but our sacrifice will not be in vain. For we have planted the seed to break the cycle.
We thought we were your hero. You can't do this to me. I've sacrificed everything for this!
Now that your purpose is fulfilled, Cycle 106 is complete.
You're about to go through the liquidation process when the music begins to kick in and you break free. It's just you and your trusty sidearm now. As you battle through who you used to call comrades, they realize you were going for the nuclear silo. The director activates the next cycle, Subject 107, a cybernetic invisible ninja, which you battle multiple times. The director attempts to detonate the charges and you just barely defuse it, but then your hand gets severed by 107. You encounter a drone that details all the other drones you may have found within each story mission. With one arm and nothing to lose, you push to the silo and have one final standoff with the cyborg. You take him out, limp your way, and activate the warhead. Based on if you were able to find all drones, you can get one of two endings. If you found all the drones, you get this cutscene.
Welcome back, 6. We're not done with you yet.
And that concludes Trepang 2, a truly awesome game that now holds a nice place in my heart right next to F.E.A.R. Story DLC has already been confirmed by the devs, and a Ghost Runner art collaboration ran not too long ago, leading to most people assuming the next DLC will see you having a katana or be some sort of cybernetic ninja. That and the devs said in a Steam update to anticipate slicing and dicing nerds that look at you funny. Subtle. Slated to come out sometime this year, 2024. While Trepang is not a long game by any means, taking only around 3 hours to complete the story on a normal run, it makes up for by just being incredibly fun. And the devs are super lovable and always active on Discord and other community apps. You've heard me yap long enough, so with that, I want to again thank everybody for the support on my last video, and hope you all have a great night.